So I wanted to describe something that was just really unforgettable and absolutely just crazy weird about my last acid trip on April 19th. Um, and that was while I was like 10 hours later when I was trying to go to sleep. Um, Turn the lights off, and this was with 3 hits of LSD and a pill and a half of 100 milligrams of Pentadol. And what I was seeing at first was I had my sleeping bag over my face and my eyes were closed, but I could see my hand through the sleeping bag, and I could see the outline of my hand in like a white and light blue looking color. Like right now I can't see it at all. Somehow I could like really see where my hand was. It was like exactly where, like, I could really actually see my hand. It started off that way, and then like a few minutes later, after doing that enough, I started to see myself from like 6 or 7 feet high. I was looking down at myself, and I've had that happen one other trip where I was closing my eyes and I was like seeing myself sitting there with my eyes closed. That was when I was out in a forest. So that's the only other time I've had this like out of body experience. I was looking at myself laying there, but there was this alien next to me. There was a root. It was like as big around as the back of my head. It looked like a melted road cone, like an elephant trunk, because it was coming out of the back of my head. It was like 4 feet long, and it was like curled up next to me, like on the bed. And the alien that was like sitting next to me was had like a bag of like little spheres that were like the size of racket balls. But they weren't like blue like racket balls. It's kind of hard to tell what colors they were because like all the extra stuff was like see-through looking, like my hand. Like I could see the outline of it. Like I could see that it was there, but it didn't look solid. Like the way like solid shit looks. And this alien was putting these spheres, these little racket balls into my root. And when it would do that, I would see like being able to see myself, like that vision would fade out, and then this a memory of earlier in the day would be visible. And I'd see people like riding by on bikes. Like there was a time earlier in that day when I was actually tripping, when we were up on the hill, when I was sitting up there like watching people go by on the trail down there. I could like vividly actually see the memory, like I was back there again. It wasn't like, as bright and like easy to see as it was during the day, but it was like, dim, like half. I could definitely easily see it. It was like half as bright. And then it would last for like maybe 15-20 seconds, really really strong, and then it would just slowly dim for like for the next like 5-10 seconds. It would just fade away, and then as it was fading away I would start to see myself again. Like I'd go back to the camera that was like above me looking down, and the alien would know it. The alien was aware of it because every time that would happen, it'd put another sphere in my antenna, like, or my root, or whatever the hell is coming out of the back of my head. And then like, another vision would fade in. This time, like, it was when I was staring at the Lockheed Martin building, which I vividly remembered. And I was just, like, staring at the building, and then that memory, like, lasts, like, 20 seconds or so, and then it starts fading, and then it fades in to me looking, the camera looking at myself again. Then it puts another sphere in there. It was like waiting to for my memory to fade, like pretty much out to black. Like the alien knew it somehow, like right when to put the next sphere in there. And then it would be me staring like through the bush, and I was like seeing like the bush, like the twigs, like I already explained in another video, like what the twigs were doing when I'd look through them and zone out, like with the twigs like right in my face, looking down there, and the twigs like start getting all crazy. There was like women in the twigs, like there was like orange melted looking like moss or something on some of the twigs, and they had like a feminine look, and like they were look like around their vaginal area was like mud sucking in, like it looked like there was like a sucking into the vaginal area, and like they were like smiling with these like ugly melted faces, like trying to draw me in. I had like that memory again, seeing it, and then that would fade, and then the alien would put in like another sphere, and then I would see the ground like over by the houses, but it was like stretching like this, like the surface of a balloon, like a rubber band. So like it was putting memories back in my head of earlier in the day. It wasn't putting memories in my head of like, farther in the past. It was only putting memories in my head of like things that I, was enjoying during the day. It was like giving me my joy back, like you have some of this, like your enjoyed moments. And I wondered if it was able to give me spheres from like farther back in the future, or if it could only give me spheres of like earlier in the day when I was tripping. I wonder if your brain records like all the time, like the way RoboCop can in the movie RoboCop when he comes in with the evidence, or if it can only do that like on LSD or some sort of psychedelic. But yeah, it was either my brain was recording it and had the information stored to the point where like I could visibly see it again, or some fucking alien is like harvesting my memories and like able to like hold them into spheres, and like put them back in me whenever it wants, which I've never had happen before. I've never even heard of that. And somehow I'm doubting that would have happened if I would have taken Tapentadol the same night that I was tripping. But yeah, I just wanted to tell that story. It's like super fucking weird. What I'd really like to know, if I was just having a complete and total hallucination, or if it was real. Like if there's really like these like normally invisible like beings around us at all times that we just can't see or detect, just barely out of our sensory range. But like as soon as we get like this chemical combination going, it like uncloaks them, because our perception changes. It like broadens perception, which is actually what if I were to put money on either one of them, it would be that they're actually there, and there's like these things that can harvest our thoughts that might actually be what's going on when we dream. There might just be some like thing that's like messing around with that root, that like elephant trunk melted road cone. It's like 4 feet long coming out of the back of our heads. And it makes me think of those pictures, those ancient hieroglyph pictures, where like people have like long coned heads. Like holy shit, I think that there's actually something to that. I think that there's some like ethereal like thing that comes out of our head that might even be able to like touch other people's cones or roots or antennas. I guess antenna would be a good word for it. there's like some antenna we can't see coming out, and that would explain why sometimes you have accidental telepathy, which I have a lot with like specific individuals that I hang out with a lot. We like say things that the other person's thinking, like obscure things that like would be like a really big coincidence if it was just a coincidence. Um, so yeah, I think I've said everything that I really wanted to say about that.